Out of breaking news in Thousand Oaks, firefighters are working to put out a brush fire.
Stu Mendel live over the scene in Sky 9. And Stu, it looks like they've made a lot of progress.
Oh, I wouldn't say that. They are here on scene. They are doing what they can, but this fire is definitely still moving uphill, very close to homes, and they've just bumped it up to a second alarm. That's going to be Ventura Fire. That's going to be the ones handling these flames out here. As we push through the smoke, we can show you some of that fire. It's off of Potrero Road. This is going to be the 2900 block, and that road that you actually see in the shot off to the right side of your screen, that's actually going to be a driveway to one of these homes. Firefighters, they're actually on that property. We just saw some hose lines being pulled as the fire is working its way up to the property line. Now, this home does have some brush clearance, but there's a lot of vegetation right around that building. These flames are moving very quickly. A light wind out here, a little bit of heat, and this is what we have in the Southern California area. Now, they do have one helicopter out here dropping water, and you can see what they're dealing with, though. There's a lot of vegetation and a lot of areas that can burn. There you go, some fire just popping up again, also making its way up this hill to this structure. Now, there's only one home that's being threatened right now, but these flames are fast moving, and we are seeing that scattering, that the embers being picked up and dropped in other areas. A lot of very dry vegetation out here. Even though there's a little bit of humidity in the air, you can see what the firefighters are dealing with.
Stu, is that right up against the foothills there?
Actually, this is in a little bit of a valley. There's a foothill on both sides of that road.
Okay.
Sometimes these pictures look a little bit flat, but if you get the feeling right now, they have two homes up on hillsides out here, and Potrero Road is down in that valley. Now, they said that's where that fire started. We haven't had time to really hunt and poke and see, but you can see that this fire is dropping spots farther and farther up the hillside, and then, of course, we know fire burns quicker uphill, and then you can see dry vegetation along with a lot of that thick green. Now, they've bumped this up to a second alarm. I wouldn't be surprised if they bring it up even farther than that. Firefighting resources that are on the ground are spread a little bit thin right now, and I'm not armchair quarterbacking the fire department. They know what they're doing down there, and they are doing a great job to contain these flames. But you can see command vehicles pulling up, so they are making an assessment of that situation. There's one of them right there. Another one's driving up the road. We did see the Ventura County Fire helicopter make a drop when we first arrived, but this property, a lot of vegetation. There is some brush clearance around the actual building itself, but you can see that just kind of eating up the property right now.
Stu, you know, it's interesting because when you first showed us those pictures, that smoke looked white and pretty thick, and you couldn't see how big some of those flames were just adjacent to those homes, and you really couldn't tell how close they were. But now that we have a better idea of that, you have to imagine that these people who live there are pretty skittish about this, because we know Thousand Oaks has seen their fair share of suffering with the Hill Fire recently. So how close, can you give us an idea of exactly how close those flames are encroaching on that property right there?
Well, the actual main house itself, we did see firefighters out here when we first arrived. They were pulling hose line. We're just following that hose line. There you go. You can see one of those firefighters right there. Let's see what we can do with the lens here on Sky 9 this afternoon. You can see that one lone firefighter down there with a lot of line being pulled to get to that area. But you can see that fence, obviously some kind of plastic all melted down there. But that brush clearance is probably what's going to save that property. Even though there is vegetation, nice vegetation around the actual main house, as long as those firefighters are there and it's not high winds, it's just kind of this light breeze, it's going to keep that house safe. But that's the only active firefight that we've seen on the ground. We've seen a couple of water drops when we first arrived out here, and there are other properties, and now we're starting to see some of those other firefighters. So they are kind of planning. They're hoping that those flames don't make their way up that hillside and to those other homes, but now we're starting to see a lot of those other firefighters down there. Also, just a quick note before I give it back to you guys again, the white smoke is that's kind of a misnomer. They always say that, oh, white smoke, it's out, that's steam. Not always. A lot of times in this brush, it'll be a light white smoke, and it means that this fire is still burning. And of course, this is vegetation, so there's many different types of vegetation out here. Also, this smoke really starting to fill up the Ventura Valley. When we just got over the hillside in the West Valley area, just leaving the valley, the San Fernando Valley, we could see this smoke.
Yeah, and that brush looks very, very thick. All right, Stu, while we keep watching your picture there, we want to bring in Brian McGrath with the Ventura County Fire Department. He joins us live now on the phone. Sir, can you give us an idea of what we're looking at right now and what's going on down there?
Yes, right now, the last reports you're hearing were pretty correct. We got about 4 acres with running uphill at a moderate rate of speed. We do not have any winds affecting it, so it's all going to be terrain and fuels driven. So that's definitely in our favor. We do have multiple structures threatened, so we are preparing and sending all of our initial resources to those structures to prepare them and protect them. Luckily, there is good brush clearance in that area, so that's definitely helping us to be able to save those structures.
Any evacuations being ordered now, or at least suggested because of the flames coming close to homes?
Right now, where we're at, we are just the locally impacted resources are the ones that we're going to be wanting to leave. But with us trying to get in there so much, and with a good fuel reduction around their homes, we're not requiring any other evacuations for any other areas.
So
right
that
now.
really was key, that good brush clearance. We can see it from Sky 9 right now. You can see there's a nice break. There's nice fire roads around these homes.
Yes, yeah, those fire roads or the brush clearance around the homes makes it a drastic difference for us. It makes it very good for being able to protect these structures.
Brian, I imagine the people who live in these homes are still pretty nervous, even though it sounds like you guys have boots on the ground who are incredibly well trained to deal with situations like this. Since you don't have wind, do you feel like your men and women have a good handle on the situation right now?
Yeah, as the fire is going right now, there isn't too much fire activity, as you can see from your copters in the air. And with the good clearance, with the no wind is what's really helping us. So there is some pretty thick pockets of fuel in there, which will give us some issues for quite some time, especially as the sun goes down and we start getting some of those diurnal winds come in that are naturally for that area.
And Brian, we're taking a look now at one of the water dropping helicopters. What kind of resources does the Ventura County Fire Department have out there right now? And are you asking for assistance from other areas?
Yeah, so on our initial response, we send our standard yellow and blue Type 1 helicopters that carry our hand crew as well as water dropping capabilities. And also with our first alarm brush fire, now that we are in fire season, we have 2 air tankers that will be automatically added to that. So they're still en route. And then we also, with the upgraded response, we will be getting from local agencies. I do not know who that other agency is. It could be one of the LAs sending their ships over to help us out.
Brian, understandably, a lot of people in your county are very, very concerned about wildfires and the immense threats that they can pose. It sounds like the lesson here is to take some preventative measures, including clearing brush. What can you tell to people who are watching this about that, who want to protect themselves and their homes?
Yeah, it's we really push the Ready, Set, Go program out here. So and that includes preparing your structure, preparing your families, and also be aware of the alerting systems we have. So if we do have to evacuate, you get out early so you can protect yourselves and you're safe.
Years ago, Captain, we were saying 200 feet was the correct amount of brush clearance that you'd want. Is that still the case today, or because fire season is now year-round, we want to make it even a larger number, even go bigger?
Well, so the standard basic number is going to be 100 feet from any structure. Now, depending on where you're at and what kind of fuels you have around your house, then we can require you to have a little bit more clearance.
Yeah, we're looking at live pictures right now from Sky 9, live on KCAL 9 and streaming live on CBSN Los Angeles. We're joined by Captain Brian McGrath of the Ventura County Fire Department. Brian, I imagine you're looking at these live images as well from your vantage point. What can you tell us about the last few minutes, what we're seeing here? We're seeing some pretty big flames, and as you mentioned, a lot of fuel, all of this brush out here. What's the strategy moving forward?
It's once we get enough resources on scene, we're going to go direct attack on all the fire and make sure we get it out as quickly as possible, and as well as protecting those structures.
We saw at least one of those precision water drops, Captain, and it really is impressive how well the firefighters who are up there in the chopper, they can just, coming in at quite a speed, drop the water exactly where it needs to go.
Yeah, we are very extremely happy with our pilots we have. They're very well trained and educated. We rely on them quite a bit. They are awesome.
Yeah, I mean, it's really amazing to see that. Juan, you were saying that it was impressive, and I was thinking just that when we saw that water drop just now. So we understand, Captain McGrath, that this situation, fortunately, is ideal in terms of weather conditions, at least in one regard, the fact that there's not a lot of wind. But can you tell us how areas like this sort of valley with a lot of brush, can make things difficult on a hot day?
Definitely. I mean, we have these thick pockets of brush all throughout Ventura County. You know, even though we did have those large fires at Thomas and Woolsey, we still have good pockets like this within the county. And with those thick, tall trees and brush, there's a lot of hidden hazards in those areas. So the amount of fuel and heat that they put out does definitely pose a threat and a problem to us.
Well, we are continuing to watch this breaking news story unfold here in Ventura County. Captain McGrath, thank you so much for joining us. We're going to take a quick break, and we'll be back with more news after this.